All right, chat. We have what I like to see. We have focus group of undecided voters. Grade RNC. Oh, hell yeah.
Mike. I don't know who you are. I don't know where you are. But you may want to start changing your ways.
Now, these all look like younger people. There's a few gray hairs. I guess about half of them are old. And a few of them are middle-aged. This seems like the average voter line to me. But I gotta say, the vibes coming off these people, if these are the undecideds, the Democrats are in deep doo-doo. Deep doo-doo. They are beyond cooked. So I don't expect this group to be very beyond cooked. So I don't expect this group to be very pro-Trump. But the fact that they're calling themselves undecideds is not good.
Of this group, 11 of the 13 still haven't decided who they're going to vote for president in November. 2 of them have decided. This gentleman right here, Kevin, for Donald Trump, he knows that already. This woman here, Paula, for Joe Biden, or the Democrat who might eventually take his place, she knows that already. Right. But what I want to ask you all first at this
so you're not undecided. Why are you here?
Point, all 13 of you, what you thought of the speech, not a yes or no answer if you thought it was good or not good. I want you to give a letter grade to it like you're in school. So I'm going to start here with you. What letter grade do you give that speech?
B.
C.
B.
C.
D.
D.
A. C.
B.
B.
C.
A.
B.
Oh, we are cooked.
So B and C seem to be the most prevalent grades. I'm going to start with you, Kevin and Dawn, married couple right here. You are both still undecided about who you will vote for.
The reason why they're rating it well is they like the Nazi martyr beginning of the speech, where Donald Trump talked about his assassination attempt on his life, and then they kissed the fireman jacket. It's almost like all that cult of first responder shit that happened in 9/11 was actually laying the groundwork for fascist messaging. Who could have seen that coming? Oh, wait, everybody who was on the left.
Tell me what the most important thing you thought about when you watched the speech.
I was listening to his tone of voice, to his way of speaking and encouraging us and bringing unity to the country and those individuals that might be outside of the Republican Party.
And what grade did you give it again?
B.
Dawn, what grade did you give it again?
I gave it a C.
And what did you think of the speech?
I thought the beginning was really good. I was looking for unity, speaking out.
I told you, chat. Like, remember when I predicted that? The Horst Wesseleid? Remember when I said the Nazi martyr Hitler playbook? Remember that? And I fucking called it dead on balls accurate. How many people know about Horst Wessel? So the person who was killed at the rally is going to become MAGA's Horst Wessel. What's that? It's the famous Nazi martyr. This is what they're about to do. They're about to make their own Horst Wessel. If you don't know who this is the German Nazi martyr. He died in 1930 in a street fight against the communists. And he became one of the big Nazi martyrs. Now, since it looks like the shooter was just like some sort of generically right-wing incel type, school shooter type, this may not happen. But I can see the efforts to make it happen. For Corey Comprador is what his name was. Of course, white libs loved it. Of course, white libs were like, ooh, Nazi icon, ooh.
Side of the Republican Party, and I thought I heard we a lot and not so much about himself.
Kevin, you're supporting Donald Trump. You've already said that. You gave the grade of?
A B.
And what did you think of the speech?
I thought it was too long. I think it started off slow.
He's completely right. He's completely right. It's too long. It was boring as fuck. He's right. He's right. There's nothing wrong with that. I feel like I can't comment on this man, but whenever you're wearing a bow tie, if you're not going to a literal black tie dinner, if you're not going to a place that requires a tuxedo, do not wear a bow tie. That is the rules. Okay? Do not wear a bow tie, period. It is bad. It is wrong. It is not good, folks. Not good. This is my hardcore permanent take. The only exception is, as people are pointing out in the chat, and thank you for reminding me of this, is if you are a quirky science educator for children and you have the bow tie on like a little servo that causes it to spin when you discover some science fact. Okay? That's fine. All right? But other than that, keep the bow tie out. What about us lesbians? Honestly, this applies to lesbians too. I know there's a lot of butch lesbians in my community that are fuming right now, but I'm sorry, you do not get the bow tie pass either. All right, let's keep going.
I believe it got a lot better.
Lena,
What's
you
a
gave
butch
what grade?
lesbian? Really? You don't know? I mean, there's been an entirely too much focus on gay males and not enough on lesbians. Lesbian culture, like the fact that this community is not up on lesbian culture the same way they are on gay men, and like I've seen entirely too much heterosexual commentary on bottoms and tops. Like, where the hell is the lesbian commentary? You know, it's really, you know, I mean, it makes sense. This is a community that is involved with Hassan, which is pretty much the opposite of a community with lesbians in it. Being honest. It's reflective in our country's lack of lesbian bars. So true. So true. Cat Erd 4. There was a lesbian bar in my community, and I didn't go there because I respected their wishes. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a space for me. So I didn't like impose my normie breeder presence. I let them exist. I respected them. You know. You're like, when lesbians have a lesbian bar, it's not for the straights to come and hang out and take up space. Just let them exist. That's the only kind of place you only go with an invite. Even then, you know, it needs to be a very specific type of vibe, like a breeder night or something. Pocan calls on Brandon to step down. Oh, it's fucking Jover. Anyway, back to the bow ties. I got off on a whole lesbian rant for some reason. Oh yeah, somebody said, "Can lesbians wear bow ties?" And I said no. I hate bow ties. I'm anti-bow tie. Whenever somebody wears a bow tie, and this is 100% accurate in my life, I did not like them. So I just have a reflexive automatic dislike of all bow tie wearing, except, as I said, in situations where it's mandatory because it's fucking black tie. What about bi women? Are we allowed? No. I told you, I'm anti-bow tie.
A C.
A C. And Lena and Rich are also married right here.
Yes.
Why'd you give it a C?
Because his rhetoric hasn't changed about the election, 2020 election, and I'm really concerned that we're going to have another issue.
What about bolo ties?
Depending on
Only if you're Turkish. Okay, that's the only people who could wear bolo ties. All right, everyone else, it's cringe. Okay? I'm actually kidding because I find bolo ties to be not my style, but go ahead. I mean, whenever I need to buy myself a used truck, I guess that, you know, the car dealer wearing a bolo tie would be fine.
who wins. So, you know, I'm just really praying that if Trump wins, the guardrails of democracy will hold.
Rich, what grade did you give it?
So I gave his speech a D.
Tell me why.
It started out great, but then he
Everybody
went
loves
into
the fascist
mistruths and grievances and attacks, and it just totally
That's
contradicted.
exactly what. But yeah, see, that's what a fascist speech is going to be. I just think you guys don't like fascist speeches, which good for you. Good for you. I do think when Donald Trump was just talking about the emotions and the experience of the assassination and then talking about the man whose life was taken and making him into a martyr, that is a legitimately good type of speech for him to make. And he should have wrapped it up very quickly after that. And it would have been a very successful speech. If he had done a 30-minute speech, spending most of it talking about how he was emotionally changed due to the assassination attempt, drawing attention to the family, the whole he made the MAGA millionaires, He was like, all the people who caught a bullet at my rally are now millionaires. We have compensated them. I will always care for you. Here's a check for $1 million. Like, that was really good. I mean, it was tawdry and all that, and it was exploitative. But as far as like the effect on the audience, it was good. Check bounces, well, you know, that'll happen off stage.
In terms of what he wanted to achieve with unity.
Paul, the grade you gave it,
D.
and you're supporting Biden,
Yes.
or whoever takes his place if that happens. What did you think about it?
I think, I do believe he started off with a pretty good tone for him. I thought it was good, but then he lapsed back into the Donald Trump of old.
Okay, up there in the corner, Robin and Kirsten, mother and daughter. The grade you gave it?
I gave it an A.
And why'd you give it an A?
The thing I was looking for was a change, and I felt I heard that change in his voice. I was looking for his discussion on getting unity together in the country, as well as...
By the way, can we talk about how every single one of these people... This is what I'm talking about with politics, man. This is what I'm talking about with politics. This is why, like, when I talk to people about politics, I have lidded eyes. Because my brain goes, it like downshifts to like, I'm like in first gear. I'm like barely awake. I'm honestly like, you know, when you're in a car and you're at the stoplight and you have to press the brake because it has like forward creep if it's an automatic transmission and you're like pushing the brake. And like when I talk about politics with people, it's like I let my foot off the brake and the car is just like creeping forward. Like, it's baby shit. It's boring. It's like they're just repeating back to the media what the media said to them, which is Trump has to look like he's doing unity. And she's saying it looks like Trump did unity. Like, there's nothing there. It's just repeating the media. It's like somebody taking a quiz in 6th grade and repeating back the answers they just heard the day before. There's no engagement with any kind of like political reality, policy, even rhetoric. There's not even like a rhetoric analysis. It's just like the barest vibe. The lowest possible IQ statement. And like she's shifting uncomfortably because she's like a student who didn't read the book doing a book report. It is just really disappointing. You're an adult.
As the border control and inflation.
Kirsten, what grade did you give it?
C.
And why?
It started off strong, just like some other people have said, but the same old thing. It went from him probably just reading the teleprompter and actually reciting the speech into his whole song and dance of just putting his own spin on things. And that's where I feel like a lot of his points get lost.
Gary and Nancy, you're a married couple too.
Yes.
You gave it what grade, Gary?
I gave it a B.
Good first name, by the way.
That's like honestly how it feels when a peer judges you during a public speaking class. This is the level of fucking analysis we're at, which is like, I think you were pretty good on your speech and you made your points, but sometimes you looked like you were a little bit nervous, and it's like, okay, cool. Vapid bullshit. Fucking kill me, honestly. Like, when we talk about democracy, one of the things that we have to understand is that democracy requires, it's a two-way street, which means you have to have democratic citizens. This is one of those things that needs to be talked about more, which is democracy is something that has to spring from virtue, meaning like you have to be worthy of it. You have to be educated. You have to be engaged. You have to be organized. You have to be knowledgeable. You have to be confident. And it's part of what makes a republic successful is what it inculcates those values and that kind of expectation into the people. The reason why we're degrading is because we're also just we're not advanced enough as a culture. We don't do that kind of republican reproduction in the sense of citizen and certainly not worker. The masses are slack and they are propagandized and they are lazy, and that's part of the problem, is that we don't have people that can rise to the occasion. And this is an intentional design by our system. And thanks for the hype train, everybody. But like that, this is an intentional design of our system. It's to make proletarians workers that are not politically engaged, especially on the axis that is most relevant to them, which is their class identity. And they don't have that class consciousness. They don't have that solidaristic attitude. They don't have a vision of politics as a redistribution of resources. It's kind of just a vibe of, well, I want the country to be better, and I want to make sure that the person who's in charge is a good person. And there's almost like this anti-ideological, anti-political orientation toward voting, where it's purely a vote on your vibe. And there's not a lot of frontal cortex activation happening. And I'm going hard against these people, but that's just because this is the average person. Like, legitimately, this is the average person. I've had 10,000 of these types of conversations. I don't have a reverence for them because I know these people could be a lot better if they were challenged, if they were actually expected to like know things, and they were actually expected to have values and beliefs about issues. If they were being challenged, they're being asked stupid questions, and so they are giving stupid answers, and they are, and that's the reality. This is embarrassing. I gave a guy a full breakdown of the Heritage Foundation. The response was, think tanks just make up crazy shit. No one actually listens to them. Project 2025 is just QAnon for the left. I mean, it is a lack of engagement with how policy is actually implemented in this country. Think tanks are oftentimes right or create the policies that are implemented. That's just wrong on its face.
Wait, Gary. YB.
He went into some negativity. I was expecting much more negativity, but he did go a little bit of negativity and also some exaggerated statistics and exaggerated goals of getting us to #1 in the world as far as schools go and stuff. Those are just unrealistic.
Okay, Nancy, what grade did you give it?
I gave it a B. I thought it was not negative on women, which I was sort of expecting. I thought his tone was pleasant and something that, as a leader, that maybe I would be proud to have him as a leader with his more relaxed tone.
Susan, what grade did you give it?
A C.
And why did you say C?
Well, I was led to believe that there would be a change in his approach to people, and I don't feel that he met those expectations like others. I thought he started out strong and then went downhill.
Ray and Barb, you're a married couple too. Ray, you gave it what grade?
I gave it an A.
And why'd you give it an A?
Because it's Donald Trump. He was who he always has been. And even though with the incident that happened Saturday, he still came out as himself.
Barb, what grade did you give it?
I gave it a B.
And why did you give it a B?
I gave it a B because, like so many people said, he started out good, strong, grateful, thankful, and then into bragging.
Have any of you changed your mind? 11 of you were undecided. Any of those 11 made a decision based on this speech, or is it still the same?
I think I'm more decided.
And what have you decided?
I've decided that I will support Trump.
Anyone else make a decision yet?
I have. I've made a decision to support him.
So 2 of our 11, anyone else? The 2 of you?
Trump.
Trump. So 4 of our 11. You gonna watch Biden in 5 weeks?
Oh, yes.
Give us
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, this has always been a problem with socialism is socialism is an aspirational philosophy, and I think a lot of people are going to be uncomfortable with my tanky position that I'm about to espouse. But I'm a vanguardist. And a vanguardist is basically somebody who believes that you need to have professional revolutionaries and ideologues who are the most advanced members of the class, who advance the interests of the proletariat from an intellectually grounded place, who do not turn back to the unorganized masses as they lead them, because they understand that people are in the constant struggle for survival. Not everybody is going to be advanced to the same degree, and it's completely irrational to expect that everybody who's a normal person is going to get to the same level before we do a revolution. Okay, that's not a thing. So that's my most tanky belief, and that's fine. But The other issue is that people have to actually be worthy of a political engagement. And a lot of people are at that kind of stage. I will say that overall, I would say that that was a pretty successful Republican National Convention. If 4 of 11 undecided voters who didn't seem like Trumples, I think all of them authentically were undecided, or at least pondering, went with Trump. That's a pretty good outcome for them. Yeah.
She has no idea who Mike is.
Mike. I don't know who you are. I don't know where you are. But you may want to start changing your ways. Change your ways. Or changing your name. Change